Your dog growls when you wake him up. He shakes his toys like he's trying to kill them. He eats dirt in the backyard. And somehow he always knows the second you start packing a suitcase. You've probably brushed all of this off as just weird dog stuff. But every single one of these behaviors has a real, science-backed explanation. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand your dog on a completely different level. Stick around, because reason number 6 is the one most owners get completely wrong, and it could actually be putting you at risk. Dogs can't talk, but they are constantly communicating through their nose, their body, their instincts, and behaviors that have been hardwired into them for thousands of years. The problem is, most owners misread these signals. They call it bad behavior or just being weird, when really, it's biology, psychology, and instinct working exactly as they should. Let's break down 8 of the most misunderstood dog behaviors, backed by real science. Point 1. Why your dog's nose runs the show. Let's start with the most powerful tool your dog has: his nose. A dog's sense of smell isn't just better than a human's, it's in a completely different league. While we have around 6 million scent receptors, dogs have anywhere from 100 million to 300 million, depending on the breed. On top of that, dogs have a highly developed olfactory bulb, the part of the brain responsible for processing smell, that's proportionally 40 times larger than ours. This is why your dog can smell a treat in a sealed bag from across the room, or detect a single drop of scent diluted in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Their entire world is built around smell first, sight second. This single fact is the foundation for almost every other behavior on this list. Because for dogs, scent is information, memory, and emotion all wrapped into one. Think about what that means practically. When your dog sniffs the same spot on a walk for what feels like forever, he's not being stubborn. He's reading a message left by every other animal that passed through, figuring out who was there how long ago, and sometimes even how they were feeling. What looks like a random pause to you is, to your dog, the equivalent of scrolling through a detailed news feed. Point 2. Why your dog panics when you pack a suitcase. Have you ever noticed your dog getting anxious the moment you pull out a suitcase, before you've even said a word? This isn't a coincidence, and it isn't magic. It's a well-documented psychological process called classical conditioning, the same principle behind Pavlov's famous dog experiment. Your dog has learned, through repetition, that the appearance of a suitcase is followed by you leaving. Over time, the suitcase itself becomes the trigger, even before the actual departure happens. Dogs are constantly building these cause and effect associations. The sound of car keys, the specific shoes you wear to work, the leash coming off the hook. All of it gets wired into predictable patterns in your dog's brain. It's not that your dog understands vacation or trip. It's that their brain has learned suitcase equals absence. This is also why dogs can seem to predict things owners swear they couldn't possibly know. It's rarely a sixth sense. It's pattern recognition built from thousands of repeated observations, running quietly in the background of every single day you spend together. Point 3. Why your dog growls when startled awake. Here's one that scares a lot of owners. Your dog is sleeping peacefully. You go to wake him up, and out of nowhere, a growl. Before you panic, understand this: growling, when suddenly startled from deep sleep, is a natural defensive reflex, not an act of aggression or a sign your dog is turning bad. It's the canine equivalent of you jumping and yelling if someone shakes you awake in the middle of the night. It's involuntary. It's protective. It is not personal. This leads directly into something every dog owner needs to hear. Point 4. Why you should never punish a startled growl. This is the part most owners get completely wrong, and it can genuinely be dangerous if ignored. When a dog growls after being startled, and the owner punishes them for it, yelling, scolding, or physically correcting them, the dog doesn't learn to stop feeling threatened. He learns to stop warning you before he reacts. Science shows that this kind of punishment increases cortisol, the primary stress hormone, and raises the dog's overall anxiety levels. Here's the dangerous part: a growl is a warning system. It's your dog's way of saying, "I'm uncomfortable, back off." If you punish that warning enough times, you're not eliminating the discomfort. You're just eliminating the warning. And a dog that no longer growls before reacting may skip straight to a bite, with zero notice. So if your dog growls when startled, the correct response isn't punishment. It's giving them space, letting them fully wake up, and calling their name gently from a distance instead of touching them directly. 25. Why your dog shakes and destroys his toys. Ever watched your dog grab a plush toy, whip it violently side to side, and then rip it apart within minutes? This is not random destruction. It's instinct. That violent shaking motion mimics exactly how wild canines kill prey. A rapid snap of the neck used to incapacitate small animals, and tearing apart the stuffing. That mirrors prey dissection behavior, the natural process of breaking down a catch. Your dog isn't being destructive for the sake of it. Somewhere in that plush squirrel, there's a 15,000-year-old hunting instinct playing itself out on your living room floor. This is also a big part of why puzzle toys and tug games work so well for high-energy breeds. You're not distracting your dog from his instincts. You're giving those instincts a healthy, appropriate outlet, instead of letting them build up with nowhere to go. 26. Why the zoomies happen. You know the moment. Your dog is calm 1 second, and the next he's sprinting laps around the house or yard like something's switched on inside him. Owners call this the zoomies. Scientifically, it's known as FRAPs, frenetic random activity periods, and here's the good news: this is completely normal and healthy. FRAPs are simply a physiological release of built-up energy. It often happens after a bath, after being crated for a while, or in the evening when energy has accumulated throughout the day. It's not a behavioral problem. In most cases, it's actually a sign of a happy, healthy, well-energized dog. 7. Why your dog sneezes during pairs are subtle. One you've probably seen without realizing what it meant. During rough, high-energy play, maybe a dog suddenly sneezes, seemingly out of nowhere. This is what behaviorists call a calming signal. It's a form of communication dogs use during play to say, "This is still just a game. I'm not actually being aggressive." It helps de-escalate tension during rough play and keeps things friendly, especially when multiple dogs are wrestling or play fighting. So next time you see it, know that your dog isn't getting sick. He's actively managing the social dynamics of play in real time. 8. Why your dog eats dirt. Finally, let's talk about a behavior that worries a lot of owners for good reason: eating dirt. Unlike the other behaviors on this list, this one isn't something to simply shrug off. Consistently eating dirt or other non-food items, a condition known as pica, can be a signal of a few different underlying issues. It could point to a nutritional or mineral deficiency, especially involving iron. It could be boredom or lack of mental stimulation. Or, in some cases, it can indicate an underlying medical condition, such as anemia or a gastrointestinal issue. If this is a one-off, occasional thing, it's usually harmless curiosity. But if it's frequent or persistent, it's worth a conversation with your veterinarian, not something to ignore. Keep a mental note of how often it happens, whether it's tied to specific areas of the yard, and whether your dog's appetite or energy has changed. Small details like that make a real difference when you're describing the behavior to a vet. So let's bring it all together. Your dog's nose is running the show behind almost everything he does. His brain is constantly forming associations, like connecting suitcases to your absence. Growling when startled is instinct, not aggression, and punishing it can actually make your dog more dangerous, not less. Shaking and destroying toys is pure hunting instinct. Zoomies are healthy energy release. Sneezing during play is your dog keeping things friendly. And eating dirt, while sometimes harmless, can be your dog's way of telling you something is off. None of these behaviors are random. Every single one is your dog speaking a language most people were never taught to understand. The more you learn to read it, the stronger your bond becomes, and the safer, calmer, and happier your dog will be. If this video helped you understand your dog a little better, make sure to subscribe, because new videos like this one drop twice a week. And if you want to go even deeper, check out the podcast, where veterinarians, surgeons, and professional trainers break down exactly what's going on inside your dog's mind and body. Now tell me in the comments, which one of these surprised you the most? I'll see you in the next one.